All right, hello. This is Metal Rules, and we are speaking with Dark Funeral, Dark Funeral's main man, Lord Ahriman.
Yeah.
Nice to talk to you today. Once again, congratulations on the new album. It's a fantastic. I listened to it all the way through. How did the writing process go? And where's the pandemic did that get in the way?
No. Well, we started working, on some ideas for this record about 4 years ago. And then we were touring back and forth, and in between I was, recording ideas and stuff like that. And like a month before the pandemic hit the world, we had decided to call it a day, like stop the touring cycle for the last record. And take a break on vacation and then resume to really start working on songs from the material I had. And pretty much a month after the last show we did, the whole world closed down, and all of us were on vacation in different parts of the world, so some of us got stuck for a little period. But as soon as I came home, I returned to the original plan to focus on the new record.
Okay,
so it was kind of a coincidence. I mean, for us, the pandemic, of course, it's been tough for everybody.
Right.
But as far as the writing process and then it was, coincidence that the pandemic came and we could just really focus on that.
Okay, so you had planned on taking some time off to focus on the new album anyway when the pandemic hit. Did the pandemic get in the way of any of the recording process?
No, not at all. Well, we were writing like we did on the last record, me and Helena in our own home studio, sending files back and forth, meeting up over Zoom and discuss things and things like that. So then in the studio, I mean, we have pretty soft restrictions here in Sweden, but of course you show respect to them anyway. But
right,
everybody was like, everybody was vaccinated, and everybody, both us in the band and in the people in the studio, we were like, as long as nobody's really sick, it just, let's do it.
Right. Okay, I can definitely understand that. So tell me about the details. Did you produce it yourself?
No, I wrote the music and pre-produced everything in my home studio, but then in the actual studio we worked with Daniel Bergstrand, and so me, him, and Andreas Hellemother was kind of producing it in the studio. I'm finalizing everything for my pre-production and writing.
Okay, great. Yeah, because like I said, this, to me, I think it's probably one of the strongest albums of your career. You've had an extremely incredible career, coming up on 30 years soon. And this album right here, to me, I've been following you guys for a good while, obviously, but this one here seems to be one of the best of the career.
Oh, thank you.
Some of the songs, obviously, some songs stray away from what was, normal formula for you, like Let the Devil In's great. It's like a more mid-paced rocker. Did you try to expand a little bit on the type of writing you did?
Yeah, already after the last record, I learned a lot on myself and also on my songwriting abilities on the last record. And when we were done with that, I already had set up some ideas where I wanted to bring the next record, and I think I followed that idea pretty much, and I think it even turned out more of that style that I was thinking about, bringing in. So I'm really satisfied with the result.
Yeah, I definitely am too. There's some really great ones on there. Obviously the first two are, the first singles that you put out. What made you decide to put the first two out as singles?
How we decided?
Yeah, how was that decided?
For the first one, we felt like, I mean, already when I wrote it, I had a really strong feeling for that song because it was a little bit different. So it was very inspirational for me that we managed to make that song. And when we talked about it, what would be the first single, it was, there was no real discussion really. Everybody felt that would be the best choice because everybody would, we didn't want to do what everybody expected from us. I knew everybody was waiting for some blast beats and fast songs, but like this is still a little bit new side of the band. But so we kind of wanted to show that we are still growing as a band and we are trying out a little bit new things and so on. And and as I said, we didn't want to do the most obvious and just go for a super fast blast beat song at first. So we wanted to surprise people, and
it was definitely a surprise. And actually, it was, when I first heard it, was one of the things that got me definitely intrigued. I've seen, as I said, I've been a fan. I've seen you guys. Saw you actually on the co-headlining tour with you and Slave back in, I think it was 2007 in the States. That was a great tour. You guys are so good live. You got any plans? Any upcoming tours? I just saw today that you had to cancel one. Any details on that, or
on the cancel show? I mean, it's always, and it's for this one, it's been a long time since I heard someone want to, change the original deal as much as I mean, either you agree on something or you don't.
right?
But I think it's, it's always, the band who got to fucking compromise and just eat whatever, organizer is, coming
Right.
up with. And I mean, we always do compromises. So we did this time too. But I've been in the game for too long, and I know that, when you start giving compromises, and
Yep.
luckily it doesn't happen too often, but sometimes, it just keep on, one thing after another, and like, after a while you have to say, stop it, this is getting, this is just not even close to original agreement. We did some compromises, fair enough, but don't push it.
Right. Has to be fair to everyone.
Yeah, and we always try to keep things honest and simple, but when somebody just don't, when you let off a little bit and someone just keep, pushing it, you have to say stop. And it's always sad because we do fucking, we do everything to get to the fans. And yeah, it's always sad when things like this happen, but you need to, you can't just accept whatever.
Right.
And,
Right.
yeah.
And it's tough because, especially with, how tough it is to get to even have gigs right now. And for someone to, want you to make too many compromises, I don't think that's fair.
No,
Do you?
this was kind of crazy. At one time, there was no contract. So we were apparently announced for a festival we hadn't agreed on. On the other hand, there was a contract, but it was a Shane's contract that he hadn't even showed us. So we didn't know what we had agreed on, and we still haven't seen it, other than so it was so weird,
Right.
And we had already made several compromises, from the original contract. But if that wasn't valid, why did they announce us for this? It just doesn't make sense. It was so crazy. You can't refer to one contract and then the next sentence you say that contract doesn't exist. You understand what I mean? It just,
Right.
yeah, it was just crazy. With, yeah, it's
I
just
think,
insane.
yeah, I think over here in the States, we call that the old bait and switch.
Yeah, and I mean, it's been a long time since I experienced something like that, but it was just crazy. But as I
Right.
said, we're always trying to be easy to work with, and always, you know, compromise if needed, and we always try to, you know, do the best from our side. But
Right.
you know, sometimes you have to say stop, and yeah, and of course fans get disappointed, and most of the time the band gets the shit, and they don't know. I mean, I wish they knew exactly what lots of bands have to go through to even do this, and yeah,
Yeah. If
it's sad. It's sad.
it is, and a lot of times, you know, I've been around a little bit too, and I know some folks, and it is tough to even get tours off the ground in a normal situation, let alone in the middle of, you know, we don't know who's closing down. Are we staying open? Are we you know, are we not open? You know, that's a tough situation. It's a tough business right now, and everybody seems to be working together for the most part. So when I heard about that, that seemed, like you said, a long time since things like that have happened.
Yeah. Yeah, as I said, you know, we always try to keep to the deal. Compromise is needed, but you know, when it comes to a situation like this one, when they said there's no contract, but there is a contract, and you know, it's like it doesn't make sense. And you know, if there was no contract, why did they announce us? You know,
Right.
and if the contract was changed, why didn't they let us look at the contract and see what we are getting into? You know, so
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, seems
Crazy.
seems a little shady all the way around. But do you have any other plans, any other tour plans that are? It seems like everything's starting to open up a little bit. What are your tour
Yeah.
plans for the new album?
First off, we're doing an album release show on April the 16th here in Stockholm. And
Okay.
it's going to be like a regular show on a big venue, lots of pyro and, you know, big production to be us. And we're also going to be live streaming the show, since we, you know, it's still some time until we can tour all over the world like we want to do. So we
Right.
felt like the best we can do at this time, we do it, you know, no pre-recorded or anything. It's just playing live. You know, they're going to be with us when it happens. And of course, if there's a time difference, the show is going to be, you know, available like 48 hours after it happened or something like that. So
Okay.
so I think it's going to be a really cool thing.
Yeah, I did see, actually saw details about that. I think that's really going to be a great thing. I don't know. I think some of the virtual shows that went on during the pandemic were actually rather intimate and rather nice. So I think, yeah, doing it locally but letting everyone see is seems like the new norm right now.
Yeah, well, as I said, I've been watching some myself because I've been, you know, missing live shows. But you know, some of them have been a little bit well produced. I
Right.
want to see it live and raw. Of course, I mean, it's got to be some kind of quality still, but when they have been, you know, overproducing it in advance too much, it's more like a music video than a live concert. Then I've been a little bit disappointed. So that's why I feel like we're gonna do it. You know, we have one of the best streaming picture, you know, people hired. Uh, so we know they're gonna do a really good job with the filming. Uh, but but for us, it is important that it is live and raw. You know, so we can bring that into everybody's living room to keep some of that live feeling. You know.
Yeah, that is a good thing, actually, because, you know, going back to your tour and going back to what I remember, you are always have been an outstanding live band, and I think that's where you definitely shine, is on stage. The energy is just incredible. So I was actually
Oh,
looking at
thank you.
some of the pictures the other day. I ran across some of the pictures the other day. I was like, oh no, I just forgot about these. Took pictures from very close to the stage. So
Yeah, well, we
go ahead.
go 110% when we go on stage. For
Most
us, it's all or
definitely.
nothing.
I'll be looking forward to that. Back to the new album. Any songs on the new album? Because I have been getting myself really familiar with it. I've kind of binge listened to it for the last few days. It's really, really good. Any songs on there that were standouts when you were writing them?
As I said, Let the Devil In is a little bit different compared to my normal writing style. But you know, the idea I had when I wrote it, one of the ideas was, first of all, I wanted to bring in more drums on this record, more tone grooves and more rhythmic stuff. And then I felt like we haven't done any songs with a really cool drum intro that could, you know, really give the song a even, you know, better feel when it's played live.
Mhm.
So I start experimenting a little bit with that, and I came up with this, you know, tribal kind of groove in you know, that's in the beginning,
Right.
and built up from there. So that was really inspiring to work on. And I mean, sometimes I can get stuck, you know, in my writing and feel like, this is not technical enough, or more and not challenging enough for me, you know, playing wise. But for that song isn't too technical to play, but so I let the feeling in it, you know, the flow and feeling in the song, you know, be in focus
Right.
more than trying to impress myself. And other than that, I mean, I think there is many of the songs that I think it stand out. The whole vibe and feeling of this record is, I mean, you can still hear Star Tuna, but it's still something new and more interesting in the songs, I think.
I definitely agree with that. I also noticed there's melodies in the riffs and in the, you know, in the tremolos and things are really, really, they stand out. The guitar work and it's, I believe it's definitely more melodic than previous efforts as well.
Well, maybe not more melodic, but the melodies are maybe a little bit more rhythmic, if you ask me.
Right.
And that was something I set up for this record. On the previous albums, I felt like many of the melodies were a little bit more straightforward, and I wanted to twist them a little bit more on this record, so I could work more on the drum part too. So that's maybe the main difference on the melody side, I would say.
Right. But yeah, you're definitely correct on those drums. I noticed that as well, because there's just some serious drumming and a lot of good rolls and a lot of good fills in there. Just and really and some epic feels. To me, I think my favorite song is definitely Nosferatu. That's just, tell me about that. That's just a great song.
Yeah, I mean, some days that's one of my favorite songs too, but some other days it's, you know, I can't tell. But that's a song that really, you know, when we were writing that song, it really brought lots of new feelings that I never experienced before. For once, it's like the way we built up the vocals and everything. It's, I wouldn't say theatrical, but it's really, you know, more storytelling that it, you know, grabs your attention and kind of drag you into the dark universe that a song really is. And you know, I got this kind of feeling, you know, it's like a lullaby and at the same time a nightmare where you just want to, you know, sink into and disappear into your own, you know, really, you know, nice nightmare, if you understand what I mean.
Yes, I definitely do. And also,
that was kind of feeling I got when we were writing and arranging the vocals. Just a stronger vibe to everything.
yeah, and you know what, it feels like actually I'm listening to it, the way I listen when I first couple listens, it sounds like it could fall as a concept album without being a concept lyrically. I think that's how the songs are on the album. I think it's, if you didn't know the lyrics or didn't hear the lyrics, you would think it was a concept album. That's the feel I got from it because of the way the songs flow.
Oh, that's interesting to say that, because I never thought about it like that exactly, but I still feel like this is the first record where it's really, when you listen to it from the beginning to end, it give a more full picture of what the album is all about, if you know what I mean. And on previous records, I haven't had that feeling really. So that's also something new that I felt when we got this record together. That it's like you say, it is like a story, but it's still not a story that goes together.
Right, but each song just flows together as if it was telling a story. So yeah, do you think it seems like your lineup's pretty solid now? Do you think the lineup is solid enough, and you think that had a part in how the album was executed?
That's hard to say, but we've been together for 5 years, maybe something like that. So we've been touring the world all together, so we built a strong team,
Right. Yeah, because this is
and of course this time I was done with the writing a couple of months before the studio. So this time was the first time in a long time where I could sit down, relaxed with one guy at a time, going through the songs.
Mm-hmm.
And after that, we could meet up in the rehearsal room and actually play and rehearse the songs all together before we hit the studio. And that was something we haven't done in many records. So I'm sure that gave some extra, push for the songs.
Right. You had a chance to actually put it together. You didn't have to rush it, and it definitely shows. Because as I said, each song just flows together, and this is probably the strongest album of your career, and I'm really enjoying it. So,
Oh, thank you.
What have you been listening to these days that maybe have sparked some inspiration? Anything new or interesting you've been listening to?
Well, I don't really listen to much music that I write and play.
Right.
Because I get quite a lot of that. But I listen to, not really new band, but one band that I haven't been listening to so much. Just, I've seen them live a couple of times, but they never really caught my attention until the last couple of years. The 69 Eyes, totally different from what we are playing, but yeah, it's just a great fucking band, I think.
Oh.
What else? Other than that, I listen to lots of Sodom, Judas Priest, Exodus, Testament, all those bands that I grew up with, thrash and speed metal bands.
Right.
Still listen to them, and
of course, have to listen to the classics.
Yeah, yeah, that's where I am. Venom Inc., Venom, it's lots of good older bands, and it's not too many new bands that I've been checking out.
Any plans to come? I'm going to ask one last question. Any plans to come to the States anytime soon again?
Yes, we have. We actually have lots of plans for the States, and we just, the last couple of tours we've done in the States have been so good, and we really enjoyed it. So we said already after the last tour that after the next record, we really want to focus more on the US for many reasons. The crowd, we enjoyed just, being there, the atmosphere and everything. It's just great. So yeah, so we have actually have a few tours in plans. Nothing I can reveal at this point of time,
Right.
but I hope we can, as soon as we get a go, we're gonna announce it. So there's lots of plans for North America.
That's awesome. Did it surprise you that you were that you had this big of a following in the States?
A little bit. I know we always had a great following in the bigger cities like New York, Los Angeles, but it seems like the last maybe 5-10 years or something, it's really, we've really grown there as a band. But we've done a couple of tours also, and that, you know, and they have been going really well. So I guess that you know, plays in a little bit too. But
yeah, because we've never been known to, you know, as far as the metal scene goes, be that big. But that's really good that you are. I do remember, as I said, that co-headlining tour with Enslaved back in 07 was a while back, but that was still an extremely powerful tour and a really good tour. And it was, you know, there was a lot of folks there. There was a lot of people there, so it was good to see that many people there.
yeah,
Well,
as I said, it was probably even better. We did one tour with Septic Flesh and one with Belfagor. That was really good tours. And I guess it was after that we felt like, yeah, we definitely want to tour more over there, you know, because it's been going so well. And as I said, we really enjoy. I mean, I've been after the tours, I always stayed and had a little bit of vacation to hang out with friends and stuff like that. So, so we all enjoy hanging out in the US, not only on tour, but.
well, I would definitely look forward to seeing you. Well, Lord Ahriman, thank you very much for meeting with me today and talking about the new album, talking about your tour plans. We really do appreciate it here at Metal Rules. We're definitely fans. So thank you. Thank you for meeting.
Oh, thank you.